fire burn, a thirst and desire. You transform out of pit of flesh, you spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire burn, a thirst and...
Hey y'all, hey, how's it going? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? If you are new, my name is Sasha. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, my loyal royals. So good to see you. If you are new to the family, welcome to the family, my new loyal royals. So good to finally meet you. Please make sure you do hit that subscribe button, because on this channel, I share my travel vlogs as well as talk about K-pop, show off the K-pop concerts I've gone to. We have what's called Let's Chat discussions, where we talk about a variety of topics, as well as just started introducing videos about aviation, as well as tips and tricks and things of flying, all the way up to the not so positive of aviation incidents. And I know people know what that means. But if any of that in that list interests you, again, please make sure you do hit the subscribe button. Please share my videos with your friends and family and those that love the same topics as you, as well as anything that interests them on this channel. And make sure you do please go follow me over on Twitter at DragonPink07. So with all that out the way, let's get into this video. So this one, I have not done a story time in a long time, but I feel it is time to do one. And this one kind of just popped into my head yesterday, and I thought, that would make an interesting video, because the incident at the time, actually, it wasn't funny until afterwards when we all really thought about it. But as you can see from the title, this one is called the candy incident. So it won't make any sense until I actually start with a little bit of backstory on it, and then we'll get into the story itself, because the story itself is actually quite short, but it won't make any sense without the background piece. So there are a lot of different candies, as well as other kinds of items that are banned in some parts of the world. And some of those, they're banned for the strangest of reasons. Others, it's kind of obvious why they are. And in this particular case, there is a fruit. This fruit is called durian fruit. Durian is a fruit that grows in Asia. I believe it's Southeast Asia, but it grows in Asia, and it's also banned in a lot of parts of Asia. But the fruit itself, I guess, is actually quite nutritious. It has a lot of different benefits to it, but that's not why it's banned. Why it's banned is because of the smell associated with it. The durian fruit has a very, very, very pungent odor to it that can almost resemble that of raw sewage or something, I guess, bad breath, or worst case scenario, gasoline. So the fruit itself looks kind of strange, but it's very, yeah, it's one of those, it's a strange thing. But if you've had it and you like it, more power to you. So to get into why I call this candy incident and what durian has to do with it, there are candies that are sold in Asian markets, and they happen to have durian as an ingredient. And one of these sets of candies was carried by some of our passengers on a flight a few years back. The story takes place about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And a group of passengers from the Southeast Asia region had been on one of our flights, and they brought this candy on. The airplane was on its way West Coast. Can't remember where, but it was West Coast. And they pushed off the gate, got ready to taxi out, and then suddenly came back into the gate. The reason they came back into the gate is because other passengers had complained of smelling a gas smell when the engines had powered up to get ready to taxi. As a precaution, the aircraft was brought back to the gate. Everybody was taken off the plane, and maintenance went on board to do a check. Maintenance checked everything out, even going down the list of the Boeing tests required in order to make sure an engine is safe for flight. Came back with nothing. There was nothing. So we decided, all right, that airplane's good. Let's try it again. Boarded everybody a second time. This time, they pushed off. It happened again. They came back. So at this point, we're thinking, okay, maybe there is something wrong with the airplane. But maintenance had done a thorough check, including the Boeing tests, to make sure that the plane was fine and all was well. But you know, rather safe than sorry. Plane comes back to the gate. At this point, the pilot says, we can't take it. We're just going to go wait for another airplane. Cool, okay, nix it. So we just took the plane out of service and left at the gate. At this point in time, while everybody's waiting in the boarding area, maintenance just said, okay, the plane's good. But at this point, nobody wants to get back on it, for obvious reasons. And finally, the captain times out. So we're like, okay, now we gotta wait for another pilot. So along the way, the smell of the candy or fruit, well, we didn't know what it was at the time, but the gasoline smell was starting to be noticed again in the boarding area. And someone said, hey, I smell the same smell we smelled on the airplane. But we're not on the plane, we're in the gate area in the airport. What is that smell? So someone got up and started walking around, and finally they were able to pinpoint the source of the smell. And it was this group of people that had candy. And when the girl was able to, a young lady was able to go up to them and say, may I see that candy you're eating? She looked at it and she read the back of it and she said, I found the source of the smell. So she came up to me and she said, I know what the smell is. And she proceeded to explain to me what durian is and how it smells. And I thought that made sense because every time they were on the plane, the people were smelling what smelled like gasoline. And that gasoline smell was the durian fruit, which is one of the ingredients in the candy. So I had her to explain to all the passengers what was going on. And then as we read up more about it, we learned durian is a fruit that grows in Southeast Asia, and it's banned in a lot of places in Asia, mainly because of the pungent smell. And now that I think about it, I don't think we really have anything with it here in the United States. But as far as I'm aware, I believe if it is around here, it's not allowed in certain areas. I know it's not allowed in like certain places like hotels and things because of the smell. But it started to make sense. And after that, everybody calmed down. So at that point, we managed to get someone who spoke, I believe the group spoke Cantonese. I don't want to get cultures mixed up. I don't want to get languages mixed up. But I believe it was Cantonese. And we got someone to translate to say, could you please not open this on the airplane? So we allowed them to have the candy while they were in the airport. But when they got ready to board, we finally got a second airplane about 4 hours later. So I stayed with this group of people for the entire 8 hours of my shift. But the passengers were chill. After we found out what the problem actually was and that it was nothing wrong with the airplane, it was nothing that I had done wrong, it was nothing the crew had done wrong, but it was just, we have to make sure that please don't open that candy again. So of course, like I said, 8 hours later, finally the passengers were on another flight and on their way across to the West Coast. But lesson learned, when it comes down to it, if you bring any kind of exotic candies to travel with, please don't open that on the airplane. Especially if it's something that it has a notorious pungent smell. Please do not bring that on the airplane. Because even though this is funny now to think of, it was so frustrating at the time. But at the same time, what can you do? Everything is unique in its own way, shape, or form. But that is the story of the candy incident. I still think about it to this day, and even down to about a month after that happened, another passenger that was on that flight saw me and he made a joke about the incident and how he literally had the best conversation for the dinner table when he got home that night when they finally were able to leave Baltimore. But other than that, y'all, if you found this story even just a smidgen of a bit cute or funny, please do let me know down in the comments down below. Have you ever had any incidents like this, or something that just was so awkward you couldn't help but laugh when you thought about it or when it happened? But let me know. Please make sure you do hit the subscribe button, leave me a thumbs up. Again, leave me some comments, share my video, as well as go follow me on Twitter at DragonPink07, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!
Never say forever fall into the